Yeah, g'day, Bush Camping Tools here today, and we've got with us Extrema Ratio's RAOII. It's the latest in the evolution of their heavy-duty folders, their heaviest folders. Let's have a look at it. This is the pouch, fully Molle compatible. We'll talk a bit about that later on. Okay, this is it here. It's a big, beefy knife. Type of axis, type of lock, roller lock in here. Totally secure there like that. It's good for a chopper and it's well balanced. What they've done is they've made it much smoother here on the back part of the knife, so it's much more comfortable with grip than the original RAO. And also we see here now, instead of a Tanto chisel type blade, we've got a drop point blade. It's a very beefy drop point. It's about 1/4 inch across there, so it's a big thick spine. Now there's no way that knife's going to close. It's very secure. There's no movement in there whatsoever. And also it comes with a pin that goes through here, screws into this part here, so it comes from this side here, and that essentially can prevent the blade from closing. It's an impossibility for this thing to close unless of course the knife was destroyed. And that essentially makes a kind of a fixed blade knife, almost a totally real fixed blade knife. Anyway, the blade itself is made from N690 Cobalt martensitic stainless steel, and also this part here of the tang as such, the handle is also made from N690. Now the handle scales themselves here, this is anodized, black anodized aluminium in a 6000 series. This is 6082. Now 6082, 6082 is one of the toughest, it's actually rated as the toughest aluminium alloys in the 6000 series. It can handle very, very, very high stress, so it's really perfect for construction handles out of. It's the same kind of stuff, or similar in the 6000 series, is what they make rock climbing gear from. Now that stuff can really take a beating, I know, so it's very, very strong. It's mil-spec coating on the steel blade here. All parts are stainless, and we've also got brass washers inside here too. So it's really a two-handed operation on here. To open and close it, it's got an active, it actively closes in there like that. So there's no chance the blade is going to come out. But anyway, let's have a look at that again. So, you know, follow me now for the next few weeks at least, where we take this knife into the field. We're here now on the coast, but we're going to take this inland too and look at what this knife can do. So thanks very much for watching. And this is what we were looking for here on the coast. If you're lucky, you're going to find plenty of driftwood like this washed up. So I don't know where this has come from. It's a bit of birch by the looks of it. Let's have a look. Looks pretty dry and hard to meet. Let's just get a squeeze with this. Oh yeah, nice and dry. Look at that. So we can definitely do something here for building material or fire material, whatever, you know. So this is pretty good, yeah. Right here on the coast. This is the Extrema Ratio RAO, as I've already shown you, the RAO2. It's that next one in the evolution of the RAO series, as I've said earlier on, with this great drop point blade. Very nice and thick, almost a 1/4 inch. I don't have the lock in there, the extra safety lock, because this thing is really super secure already. But if I wanted to do something in here, you know, like baton, you can see this knife is really, really good. It's really strong. You know, chopping, well, no problems there whatsoever. Try doing that with a ordinary photo. Whoops, here goes the camera. and there's no looseness in there. No looseness at all. Now I haven't got a gloved hand on here, and it's not too bad. Now in a survival situation, I'm going to be doing as less chopping as possible. So I think that should be ready to bust off pretty soon. That's pretty seasoned birch, this. No movement whatsoever. Let's break that. See if we can break that now. Don't need to be chopping away at it like a psycho. It's just not necessary. There we go. And that's it. There you go. Okay. Okay, now working inland on some well-seasoned elm, which is a hardwood. The blade geometry and edge grind of the RAOII allows you to easily shave into such seasoned hardwood as this. Here again, I'm just processing some hazel. Now, this small piece, this has been dead for about a year, so it's fairly hard. It's not super hard, but again, you know, just a simple chopping test with the RAOII. Now, here with this fallen cottonwood, generally you'd use a saw to cut such a branch as this, or maybe use a hatchet, but the position of the branch, it's not very close to the ground. It's only about maybe 7-8 centimeters in diameter. If you start swinging a hatchet at it, it's a bit too much weight. It'll be bouncing around a bit, so it's a bit too springy. So this is something, such a task you would use. Maybe a fixed blade would be good for that. So I don't have a fixed blade, but I've got the RAOII. I've also got the safety locking pin inserted for total confidence. One thing I wanted to test out the RAOII on, and that was food processing. Now, all of you out there know I'm really think this is quite an important aspect that you have to be able to use a knife to feed yourself with. And some very difficult things to process can be sometimes be tropical fruits and vegetables. And these are the sorts of things you might encounter trying to feed yourself in the tropics, such as yams, sweet potatoes, sugarcane, etc. Right, okay, so what we've got here is, this is a yam. It's quite a hard vegetable, tropical vegetable. And I'm going to take some skin off of that. And we're going to use the RAOII to do that. Yep, okay, here we go. So just unlock it. I've got the safety pin in for that. Look at that, perfect. And okay, so as soon as we can cut the end off, probably grow the thing from that. Anyway, let's just see how we go here with this. It's quite a thick knife. Oh, that takes that skin off very easily. Bit of a bad bit, we'll get rid of that in a minute. Okay, that's pretty good, that there. Okay, the blade's not too thick. The angle of the blade is not too thick for prepping vegetables, which is really quite good. Yeah, absolutely. So let's get rid of this here. Manky bit here. Let's get rid of that there. Now these things have got to be cooked before you eat them. They're poisonous if you don't cook them first. Alright, there you go. So that did an okay job on that, yeah. Now some sugar cane. It's a bit old and manky, we'll leave that one for a bit. Okay, so I don't have the folder locked up here. It's pretty strong. If I was going to really hack into things, I might lock it up. You could. Previous one you've seen, I locked it up. The sugar cane is really tough. I mean, this knife is deadly sharp, but this is tough. Normally, this stuff is only cut with a machete. So, but I haven't got a machete with me. So, that's it there. Alright, let's get into it. Take the outer bit off. Can't chew that. And this is delicious in the tropics. It's really refreshing stuff. Absolutely. And this here is this bit here. You can see this here. Maybe this is one of the nodes. And this is quite fiber. Well, the whole thing is fibrous, but this is really hard. It's a bit hard to chew. We're going to chop that off here. All right. It's not a job for a lightweight pen knife. You can do it. You can carve it down with a Swiss Army knife. I've done it, but I can tell now after using the Swiss Army knife, and this is a lot easier. This RAOII on here, that's for sure. So there you go, some sugarcane sticks. That's not bad. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to look at the RAOII in the fixed position here. I've got the safety pin screwed in across here like that, so effectively it makes this a fixed blade knife. It's not a proper fixed blade knife as such because it's a folder, but anyway, we're going to see how good it does at hacking open this green coconut, which you could do with a folding knife, but you're going to destroy the folding knife. Now this has got a really big thick blade, so let's just see how that it goes with that. Normally you would use a machete to do this, a special coconut machete, parangs, which you can easily find in the tropics to do this, and not a pen knife, such a folder. But anyway, you can see that this is actually not too bad on here so far. Now, why would you want to be doing this? Well, the thing is, if you're in the tropics, and I've camped extensively in the tropics, it's sometimes difficult to get a hold of fresh water, depending on where you are. And coconuts, if you happen to be there, which are going to be growing in a coastal situation, are a good supply of fresh water. You can cook with it and everything like that. If you run out of fresh water, you can do all sorts of stuff with it. And of course, you can eat the coconut, which is remaining in there after that. So far that's not too bad. I haven't got a gloved hand on, and I probably wouldn't in the tropics necessarily. See, there's no, actually there is there any movement? No, there's no real movement there. This is a pretty small nut. This one's barely anything in it. Maybe I would choose a bigger coconut next time. Right, here's the nut here, and this is going to be the real test for this knife. It's pretty sharp. This is very fibrous material. There's no problems there with that. Let's just scrape a bit more here. There's the nut there itself. Okay, so let's see if we can get into that. That's a pretty small nut, actually. Several ways we could do it. We could burrow into it like that, but let's just go. Okay, here we go. There we are, we're broken into it there. Don't want to make a big mess. There you go. That's good. So, okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to hack into this here now. Get the jelly nut out. That's good to eat. Now, really to preserve the blade, I could use the back of the spine here, crack that open. And that's not loose there at all. That's no movement there. Okay. Because what I don't want to do is, I don't want to really necessarily destroy my only blade. And I can scoop that out. That's quite good. And how's that knife? No lateral movement. That's good. So I scoop that out in there. And that's great. Okay, so there you go. After some hard use on the coconut, I did have to slightly adjust the tension in the pivot. That was no big deal. I simply undid the small locking screw, the very small locking screw. It's a flathead screw. The other one is a flathead as well too. Don't need any special tools. And tightened it one increment. It's divided up into many increments around the outside there. It's semi-circular increments. And I just turned it one increment, put that small screw back in. I did use a bit of Loctite on there, not permanent Loctite, to make sure that small set screw doesn't come out under any chance that I'll lose that. Yeah, g'day, bush camping tools here. Well, okay, going to do that summary of the RAOII. Let's take it off the belt, actually. Have a easier look at it here. Got a bunch of things here. Okay, so here we are. Here it is here. This is the pouch. I've done a few extra things to it, and I'll explain that in a minute. Let's get the knife out. I'm going to tell you straight away what I don't like about the knife. It's a little bit of a gripe, and that is part of the pivot here, of course, extends out, and you need to keep that lubricated. Also, if that was to drop on the ground, if you were to drop that and damage that surface, that's not going to be so good. It's not protected anywhere from that. That's just a small gripe. That it's two-handed operation, locks up great there. Also, what happens if you're batoning with this thing, you must use the safety pin in there, because if you don't, vibration can cause this to lift up, and if that lifts up, that's going to happen like that. Okay, so albeit that the blade here would be in the wood, but you don't want that to have to happen. Okay, so what I did was here, on here, how I've been carrying it, got these two safety press studs here. What I did with that was I put the pin, actually I took the pin off the shock cord that it came with and put it on a bit of orange paracord, because what you don't want to do, I mean, it was on black shock cord, and you don't want to drop this small black pin in the forest like out here or somewhere. You don't want to drop it anywhere, wherever you've got the knife, and lose it. So if I drop that, happen to drop that on the ground in a hurry getting it out, maybe I'm going to be able to easily see it with that orange paracord on there. So it's easy to see when that's in there like that. Okay, and I wouldn't use it to hang on to, because it's only got a small loop there, but nonetheless I've got that there like that, and it's clearly, the pin is in like that. Okay, so that's the pin on there. I really like the blade shape, by the way. The blade shape is excellent. This drop point's very, very sturdy. You've seen many things I've used it for, everything from cutting up meat, whacking into coconuts if you're in a tropical situation, some standard bush camping, making things with the blade, everything. It's really, really great. Look at that, that's pretty good. Now, of course, you could do it with the knife, but this makes it nice and smooth. A notch. And you can do it as fine as you like. And it performed well around the salt water when I had it near the sea too. No signs of corrosion whatsoever. Okay, so quickly the pouch. Again, it comes with a diamond sharpener plate. What I did was, on this, actually, this is just a modification. It's a great diamond plate sharpener, but I added on here, this is some high quality Swiss waterproof 1000 grit, actually it might be 2000 grit emery cloth there, wet and dry, so you can use that in the water to really just touch the edge up with that. That's deadly smooth, that you can barely feel. That's just for touching the edge up. That's what I did there with that. Anyway, that comes in the pouch there like that. I put a fire steel in there when I'm not using just to show you, if you carry this like a standard system, hold on. Okay, if you want to carry it as a fixed blade, okay, so, and carry that as a fixed blade like that. But remember, if using it as a fixed blade, do have the pin in, and again, using the orange paracord, it's easier to see whether you've got the thing in or not, if you've forgotten maybe on that. Okay, so fully Molle compatible scabbard here on the back, carry on a belt or Molle loops on a pack. It's really quite nice. Yeah, okay, it's a big heavy folder, the RAOII, and it is a heavy duty folder. I really like it. Took me a bit of getting used to, because it's so big. It's not something you know, you can't carry it in your pocket, not easily, because it takes up so much room. You certainly, with this big pack like this carry system's got to be on your belt. But anyway, I think yeah, the RAOII certainly served me well out doing a bit of bush camping and out and about in the wilds, such as like this and where you saw me on the coast. Anyway, okay, bush camping tools here. Thanks very much for watching.